We see very often, Boop, with Control, that first capture can be so crucial. Lighthouse is actually one of those maps, statistically speaking, that a first capture on the point oftentimes does convert into a map win.
So we're really going to be focusing in on that first fight, because who takes it does get an advantage. Hey, you flip the point, you're already closer to winning, right?
Exactly. And if you can get that stall game going, you may well find yourself with a heavy amount of percentage already to your name before you have to face another team fight. But Fusion University rolling out of spawn hot. They are ready. They have Snillo on that Brigida, Neist on the Zarya. No surprises here. They're running that classic GOATS composition, and the same can be seen from Kungarna across the aisle. So as we see the Reinhardts facing each other right here. Chongstick brought low and actually taken out. That is going to be a crucial loss already. You see Bernard giving up that space, retreating, trying to, at least into the safety of his team. Alarm is able to trade back Wub, but that's probably going to be a first point cap for Kungarna.
Yeah, the thing about GOATS, we're on the prettiest farm in the world, which is Ilios. The thing about GOATS is that Reinhardt is so important. You got to keep that Reinhardt alive. If the Reinhardt goes down, you'll see the rest of the team's HP bars get shredded themselves. And now we're going to see another engage. Fusion University going to get an early kill. They haven't flipped the point just yet, but they have taken it. They do have a numbers advantage, and Kungarna is going to reset.
Kungarna has to reset. That was just really unlucky for Insomniac right there, getting caught out by nice Zarya. Sometimes, you know, in a composition that often you wouldn't think has a lot of damage, you can get burst down across the map oftentimes without really even knowing what danger you're in.
And so Moore is going to have that Transcendence. Duplicate also very, very close to that Earthshatter, but he's going to go down. He's going to have to get closer to it in the spawn. And Fusion University in complete control right now. These picks are all happening quick and in a row.
Yeah, and what we really want to look for, Boop, with these GOATS compositions are those clean wipes. And now we see Neist setting up with that Graviton Surge, going for that sneaky play. But Kungarna, exactly, we are hunting GOATS. Shh, we got to be very quiet. Moore, though, does have that Transcendence, but it's all going to be a question of how fast that burst damage can come through from Fusion.
All right, the Graviton Surge is out against the majority of the team. Kungarna, though, can have an Earthshatter on the way, but look at this. Duplicate did drop down onto the low ground, so he's going to have to wait for that Earthshatter, but kills have been traded. Wub is going to go down, and so is Nice. Chongstick also has the Earthshatter. Fusion has a little bit more at their disposal. The Earthshatter is going to get 3, and Fusion University are going to take advantage of that and get Kungarna back to spawn.
Exactly, Chongstick laying down the hammer of the law right there, bodying Kungarna. Even though we see the focus from Kungarna, Chongstick is oftentimes the target of Moore's Discord Orb. Kungarna really want to focus down that main shield. You know, that Rein, if he's taken low, he not only can't go aggressive, but he's not going to have that shielding to protect his team from those big Earth Shatters. So Kungarna, they're going to try this once again, already going on the high ground, looking for that same route of engagement.
Yeah, Bernard was there to scout some people out. Now he knows where everyone is, and they're going to go ahead and drop that rally. Fusion University is going to have that armor, but Kungarna is going to say, hey, we're going to try to engage ourselves. The Chongstick going down. It's 6v5 on the point for Kungarna. This is the opening that they have been wanting, because Fusion University has no more ults. The sound barrier is going to be the cherry on top for this fight, as they will be flipping this point, but Fusion University is at 99%.
That is a one fight for Fusion, and they will take this first round on Ilios. I believe it was also an Eaton Graviton Surge. I mean, the Divas in these games at the very top level have gotten so good at eating these grabs that it almost feels like, you know, not really even worth mentioning, but that's certainly going to be a proud moment for Bernard on the side of Fusion University as they come back in. No ultimates to their name, so if they get an eco push, don't expend any of their old ultimates, and Kungarna uses some of those, that's going to be a massively good trade for Fusion.
Yeah, if they're able to get Moore's Transcendence out, that'll be a huge eco push for Fusion University. We do have an engage on the point. The shield dash was on the Reinhardt, and the Transcendences are going to come from both teams, and there are self-destructs on both sides too. However, looks like Chongstick's going to be the first one to drop that Earthshatter. The self-destruct isn't going to get anybody either. During the Earthshatter, Duplicate was able to get that charge kill onto Chongstick, and Kungarna is going to hold.
Yeah, Kungarna ticking up now past 50%. They can take a small breath of relief. They still have ultimates in the bank. I mean, these days with the GOATS composition, it's really a chess game of ultimates. You always want to make sure that you still have a couple of moves, but Alarm, backline fragger. We know this guy is such a dangerous player here, and now proving his worth once again. Kungarna going to have to give up tons of space here, losing Wub.
Yeah, with that early pick, Fusion University has an opening onto the point. The self-destruct is out. The particle barriers only saves himself. Elk will go down, but look at this. Fusion University is coming back on this fight. That ragdoll on the Reinhardt is a good summary of exactly what you just saw. Fusion University stopping Kungarna right now.
Yep, and overtime does start. Now Kungarna on that Desperation Hammond trying to roll their way onto the point, but not going to make it. Fusion University with an early first-round win.
Yeah, and so a lot of that was clean until they gave up the point. Kungarna was able to take it and hold all the way up to 87%. That was a lot closer than some people might have thought.
Exactly, and again, Boop, those expectations, Kungarna, they're going to be feeling pretty good about it, but they'll want, you know, to just cross that finish line with an actual round win. Hopefully might come on Ruins. One of the big things that we did see is with Kungarna is struggling with those early pickoffs, right? So Wub going down so early in that last fight forced Kungarna off tempo. Fusion knew that they were down a man and were able to push that advantage very easily with their own Lucio speed boost, just bowl over Kungarna's defense. But now as we open on Ruins, gonna be, you know, a little bit of the same. Both teams coming out on that Mirror Goats composition once again, and this time around for Fusion University, they did take that first round, but Chongsik was still an unwilling casualty. Really will be looking to give that Reinhardt a little bit more resource, keep him topped up healthy.
Yeah, Fusion University forced off of the bridge, and Kungarna's actually in an interesting position for this flank. Alarm, as consistent as he is on Zenyatta, especially with that fragging, shows up. It's going to get the first blood of this fight. Now that Fusion University has 3 more members, then Kungarna, they're going to take this off the back of some Alarm orbs.
Yeah, you know, headshot onto the baby diva.
Alarm.
Exactly. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
You know, just for style points right there. And Fusion University sitting happy with multiple big ultimates about to come online right there. It was actually Wub fell off of that high ground, got separated from the rest of Kungarna, again went down quite early, and Fusion University just, you know, played out that siege battle with their man advantage.
Yeah, Chongsik has a huge Earthshatter advantage against Duplicate as well, so it's going to be much harder for Kungarna to come on to this point in objective, especially when they're already getting down below half health before they even reach it. So Fusion University once again get a clean fight, expending no ultimates.
That is the best case scenario, Boop. You got that clean fight and you didn't have to use any of your precious abilities here. Kungarna, you know, kind of just feeding themselves into the meat grinder that is Fusion University right now. However, we do have a couple of key ultimates coming online. Biggest will be Duplicate's Earthshatter here. He's going to be looking to replicate some of Chongsik's success with that same ultimate. There is still a little bit of time here, but Kungarna do not want to be wasting this opportunity.
But look at what they're walking into. They're walking into 4 ultimates. Good charge on it to the Reinhardt. The particle barrier is there, but Alarm once again is going to start fragging out. Zarya taken very, very low, will go down as well. It's Onyx very, very quiet in his debut here.
Yeah, it's Onyx on the Zarya this time around. I do believe it was Sinker last week playing that role for Kungarna. You know, definitely working with his team, but Fusion University with this defending advantage, they can set up so close here, and they're actually going to be spawn camping Kungarna.
And look at this Graviton at Surge. They're not even going to be able to make it feet out of their spawn. And what's going to be really great about this is going to take time to get back to the point. I don't think Kungarna can take advantage of Fusion University's positioning there, as they still do have those 2 ults, particularly that Transcendence. So Moore's going to be looking to use his encounter to Alarm as well, but with Bernar's self-destruct, it's going to be another numbers advantage for Fusion University. Kungarna's not even going to be able to touch this point possibly, and if they do in overtime, it's just going to be a short one because Fusion University has all 6 members left.
Exactly. Earthshatter to seal the deal. Insomniac racing to the point with all of his might. Sound barrier hits both him and the Zarya, so there is a little bit of hope here for Fusion University. They are sitting pretty right now. Nace close to yet another Graviton Surge.
All they have to do is keep those toes off of the point, those Kungarna toes. You know, some say they might have some big toenails, but looks like this Duplicate is going to be coming on to the point and try to stall this out even longer, but in the end, the result is the same. Fusion University is going to take this 2-0 and go up 1-0 on the map score.
A lot of times, Boop, when we see these teams clashing head-to-head Mirror Goats compositions, you're like, what exactly is putting that one team over the edge? So many of these fights are on that knife's edge, right? And it does come down to those micro plays. You know, when we saw Fusion so expertly using that positional advantage to camp Kungarna in their spawn, the name of the game is tempo here, right?
Yeah.
So you already have that staging ability. You don't use any of your cooldowns. You're already set up, and you catch Kungarna off tempo. And when they try and aggress upon you to throw that aggression back in your face, you still have your speed boost save. You speed boost back onto the objective. You waste loads of time for the enemy team, and you're already won half the battle.
You know who was winning a lot of fragging matchups was Alarm on the Zenyatta. As you're going to see right here, right now, I believe he gets 4 kills by the end of this fight. That's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but what advantage do you have as a team when you have a fragging Zenyatta like this?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Goats is a composition that, suffers from low damage. A lot of these tanks, they're still tanky heroes, and they don't put out a whole ton of damage to speak of. So if you have that Zenyatta, right, sitting safe back behind all of those layers of barriers, essentially free-firing from the safety of the backline, that is a huge advantage, especially if the enemy Zenyatta is getting aggressed upon. He doesn't have as much room to look for those clean lines of sight, isn't as comfortable, always worried about maybe, finger hovering over that Q. I have to use that Transcendence to save myself. It is those small advantages really add up over the long run.
Well, and it's also providing your only long distance damage in that Goats comp. And when you're dealing with a Widow, even sometimes your Zenyatta is the one that's got to have to take them down. And someone that we talked about a little bit at the beginning of this game was Chong Sik. So last week, it was kind of an up and down feeling for him as he was really stellar at times, but was taking advantage of at others.
Yeah, it's certainly that hot and cold life for Reinhardt. A lot of times it feels like your fate isn't in your hands. Unfortunately, you're kind of just a tool for your team, right? A shatter delivery machine. But there is a little bit more behind it. One of the biggest things that Reinhardt can add to the team fight is that shield management. You only have so much HP on that shield, 2,000 HP, and that's going to be gone, in a second coming up against those, high charge Zaryas and Zenyatas shooting orbs from across the map. So one of the things that you really have to be keeping in mind is using that shield very expertly in those clutch moments. It's not just to keep yourself safe. You have to remember, you are the front line for your team. You keep all of those projectiles and damages from coming through, and most importantly, not just damage, but earth shatters.
And it's the focus on the direction of that shield as well. But one thing that's really cool about one of our teams here, Kungarna, is that they were phase 2 at the beginning of something that we like to call Open Division. So if you would like to learn more about it, it's starting very, very soon. Check it out at playoverwatch.com/esports/open_division. And so tell us a little bit more about Open Division, because we're pretty familiar with it.
Yes, if you guys are not familiar, we actually came from the Broadcast GG community esports broadcasters. So, we're very familiar with Open Division. It's one of the tournaments, it's actually the first step of the path to pro that we actually used to broadcast. So, and that is still available with all the other good folks there at BGG. But yeah, definitely sign up for Open Division, right? There, you never quite know. There in South America, which is a reason we used to cast, we had an Open Division team, 6 friends, right? Had never played for a team before, but they entered Open Division for the Blizzard Bucks. You gotta go get those skins, right? Yeah. And so they entered, and they not only made it through Open Division, they won trials and made it all the way to playoffs. South America Breakdown Gaming. Don't forget the name, folks.
Now known as Fury Esports in the current iteration of South American Contenders. But that just goes to prove that, hey, Open Division is there. It's available. You've got your path to pro. Why don't you try it out? And now we're going to try out Hollywood as our next map. So what's really interesting to me about this is how Kungarna is going to bounce back from this, as Philadelphia was in control for a very long time.
Philadelphia or the Fusion, they seem like they're just ready. They're already read the next chapter, they're like the college kids where they already pre-read the next lecture, so they know exactly what's going to be coming to the table, right? So, yeah, the biggest question, of course, is how Kungarna is going to adapt, or if they're going to adapt to their compositions at all. Goats is a very strong composition these days, and, Kungarna playing the Goats, they have looked very solid in the past. Last week, they took a map win off of their first matchup of the season. So it's definitely still a viable comp. Would, of course, always love to see a little bit more variety. We know that there are players on this team that are very famous for, one hero, maybe with a really, really big right arm. That's a Doomfist, always very viable, especially when you feel that you're going to be able to take the enemy team off guard.
Yeah, exactly. And those one-hit kills against a team like Goats can really just dismantle that cohesion that it requires. Are we going to see it? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not on this next map, but we could see some other pocket picks.
Yeah, pocket picks certainly possible. I'd really like to see, maybe a little bit more Ana coming through. It is, Grandma, we miss you. Please come back. We haven't seen that hero picked quite as much because of the utility of Transcendence. It's just very, very consistent. Again, kind of the name of the game with goats in general. But, Ana still offers a lot of viability, especially with those anti-nades and, nano boost, right? You can really enable one of, the carry players on your team to go off with that nano boost instantly, right? It's like, oh, Reinhardt's one, and then boom. Surprise! Full health, and he's really mad.
Yeah, exactly. It's that full health. It's that the great debate, right? Mm-hmm. Like the health bait that you have, because you can really get someone to focus down on a Winston. You're like, hey, we're going to put all the resources to make sure that we confirm this kill. All of a sudden, the nano goes on, and it's a different story. He's going to be bigger. He's going to be badder, and he probably has Primal Rage as well.
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely needs some anger management. But, we'll finish this team fight first. So it is really about that resource allocation, Boop, and whoever the team wants to play around, and make sure that everybody's, just on the same page as far as that goes, right? For Fusion University would, again, like to see, a little bit more resource applied to Changsik. A lot of times he is, maybe not through any fault of his own, the first person to go down. Mm-hmm. Fusion either go on to win that fight or not, but in spite of that early pick. With goats, if you're not trading your Reinhardt for the enemy Reinhardt, it's not really a worthwhile trade. You really need that main tank, that shielding to sustain everybody else. So, it's always possible that we'll see, a little bit more Reinhardt play from Changsik, but hey, Winston in particular on Hollywood really can take advantage of the verticality on Streets phase. Actually, just, him and D.Va cycling their mobility up and down, contesting the payload, really frustrating the enemy team, especially if they're running, that Reinhardt goats, because there's no way to chase, right? You got a Lucio speed boost, but no mobility or verticality to speak of. How do you actually catch one of these divers to kill him?
Yep, exactly. And one thing is for sure, actually, right now, we're going to be going to Numbani. So if you're looking for those pocket picks, we can definitely see that Soldier 76 come out and McCree, especially on point A.
Yes.
And Farah.
At Farah as well, Sombras. We'll cross our fingers for Torbjorn, maybe, our lovely Swedish father coming and gracing us once again. It is close to Christmas.
It's true.
Just saying.
It's true. If anyone needs a reminder.
Yeah. Yes, buy your Christmas presents early. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, it's the pressure of being prepared for Christmas, right? It's just like these two teams need to be prepared to be seeing each other. But what gifts are they going to give us? Look at that.
Probably
transition.
Tons of bullets to the face is the hope of most teams in Overwatch. So I hear. But yeah, you do need to try and be prepared. We've seen actually a lot of teams run an attacking McCree on Numbani. This is one of the points where you often do see that kind of. We could call it the cushion the cowboy comp, right? It's almost like playing with a Widowmaker, except McCree, has that flashbang utility and maybe doesn't require quite as much space. But you set up that McCree on a high ground, you take all of the enemy front line's attention, putting your bodies on the point. They got to contest it, they got to worry about their tank cooldown, so on and so forth. And your McCree is just, pew pew, right? At the shooting range on the high ground, uncontested. And it's especially good if you think the enemy team might be running a Farah.
Yep, I definitely had an image of McCree in the Pope Mobile, right when you're saying that, like the big glass case. Yeah, everyone's just like flanking each side, making sure that he's safe. But the big thing about that is it has that long distance damage, and that's something that Goats has always had a hard time with. It's easy for them to deal with it, but pushing long distance damage into two Goats can be pretty hard. So when you enable that McCree and you're able to take that Reinhardt's focus away from the rest of the team, you can really sneak in that damage and get the high noon pretty quickly.
Yeah, crossfires are a big thing when you start talking about multiple long distance damage dealers. Right now, though, in Numbani, looks like there may not be any of our favorite Cowboys gracing our screens. It looks like a little bit more of the same, though. Fusion University teasing Changsik on this Winston on defense. Probably going to be sticking with it. This is a very good hero to have here, just so you can be pinballing between those two opposing high grounds, providing some of that peel, warding away the enemy attackers from your squishy backline. If Kungarna roll out with this Sombra, I'm actually pretty excited. Could just be for that scouting using that infinite stealth, but you never quite know.
We might see its Onyx switch out here in just a second. It doesn't look like we're going to see it, so the Sombra will be sticking. And let's see if those hacks are going to go on to the appropriate targets. Who is he looking for in Fusion University?
Well, Zenyatta's are always one of the most squishy targets in that Goats competition.
Not anymore. Not anymore. We're gonna stop it right there. Got the stealth, walked right out, got the information he needed, and then went back to a spawn, and now Kungarna is going to be better prepared for this first attack. And Fusion University is going to go ahead and engage and push Kungarna off to the side. They're actually further away from their spawn than they could be right now. Fusion University, though, not taken very, very low, and the first kill is actually going to be Duplicate on to Snilla with a great Fire Strike kill. So Fusion is actually at a numbers disadvantage, but no longer, as Bernard gets a huge kill on it to more. So this is a 5v5 on this point. Couldn't get more even than this. They're trying to knock Duplicate off of the point, but what you're doing right now is just giving him potential ult charge. Elk's going to get a ton of that ult charge as well, as he's close to 60% because of that kill onto D.Va.
Yeah, this is a fairly even fight so far, Booth. Bernard is demeched, but that Transcendence, now you hear Alarm popping it, trying to keep his team up and healthy. Duplicate taken extremely low. So Kungarna, they're still sustaining, but they need to start converting that time on the point into some kills.
Oh, the sound barrier comes out for Kungarna, so they're going to be well equipped to potentially take this point, as they've already gotten one tick so far. The Graviton Surge does completely whiff, but it does take Alarm out of the fight just for a little while longer. But now Fusion University is coming back with their ultimates too. Bernard still has that self-destruct. Nice going down. It's not that big of a deal because of what position they're in right now. And look at this. Fusion University was behind in that fight, but Kungarna couldn't finish it off.
A classic rebound defense from Fusion University. You give up some space on the point. Kungarna did take a tick to their name, nearly 2, but Fusion University, they weathered that battle and they won the war, which is what's going to be most important here. I mean, we've been talking about Alarm's fragging ability, but just want to point out that guy had a Transcendence within the very first fight. That is just a testament to how much damage he is pumping out right now, and he's already close to his next one. That's going to be excellent against anything Kungarna are bringing to the table.
Yeah, but Moore has a Transcendence of his own. Nice does not have that Graviton Surge, and he can use it to try to keep his team alive. And that's exactly what we're going to see right now, as Bernard is going to get a self-destruct kill onto Insomniac. So no AoE healing for them. Wasn't close to the ult, so it could be worse for them. Bernard is going to continue staying on at the high ground, get the shield from the sound barrier from Arc, and this is looking a lot like the other fights we've seen so far. Fusion University in control.
Yeah, Fusion right now just running circles around Kungarna. It really is like that nursery rhyme, ring around the rosy you see Duplicate. He doesn't even know which way to shield, because Fusion University, they have mobility in spades and tons of damage as well, courtesy of Alarm. Elk used the sound barrier in that last fight. Well, Alarm's going to have Transcendence for the next one. Kungarna themselves running on empty in terms of those defensive ultimates. So Fusion University not just working that positioning excellently, but playing very disciplined with their ults.
Yeah, Fusion has the grab and Kungarna doesn't, so that's going to be an advantage for Fusion University, and I believe that grab was eaten, and so no longer going to be there. Fusion, though, still going to get with the first. Oh my goodness, 5-0! Hello, that is what you call a combo, my friends. The Wombo combo. The Earthshatter into the self-destruct is going to open this up for Kungarna. If they didn't have that Earthshatter, I don't think they have this point.
Ooh, roadside bombing combo coming through hot for Kungarna right there. You could not hope for a better result. That is certainly a way to push through and capture point A right now. Kungarna, though, they did expend almost everything that they had in order to secure that point, but they have plenty of time to build up to a few more. It's Onyx very close to their own Graviton Surge, so Alarm going to have to keep that finger hovering over that Q. He's been excellent with his Transcendence timing so far, but Fusion University, at some point, they got to start mounting a defense here. Kungarna really accruing that distance.
Well, Snilla is going to be close to that rally, so Alarm's going to have a little bit more help for this engage, and it looks like Brigitte is going to try to assert her dominance just a little bit. Snilla, though, going to get pushed back, as the rest of Kungarna are actually going to grasp upon Fusion University, and Fusion actually, I think, knew this, and so they're going to take advantage of Wub's mispositioning and get those kills for themselves. Fusion now getting up to those ultimates are going to be way more prepared for this next fight, because Alarm is still fragging out, my friends. Alarm, you know, you're hearing it in your dreams, you're hearing it when you wake up, and they're going to hear it in your nightmares.
Beep. That is the sound of headshots galore right there from the Zenyatta of Fusion University, and now Snillo's going to have the rally to help cushion the team, give them a little bit of that playing room. Kungarna, they were taken off guard once again. You saw that they were trying to bait out that shield stun from Wub, so he had no way to escape back to the safety of his team.
Here's the self-destruct. The particle barriers are there for its Onyx and a Duplicate, so he's going to survive. The Duplicate gets taken very, very low. More going down first in this fight means Fusion's going to take another easy one.
Yeah, and an easy indeed, making it all look so simple as Fusion University. Throw out a zoning D.Va self-destruct. I keep telling my teams that all the time. I'm just zoning. But it did exactly what they needed. Kungarna coming right out of spawn, certainly maybe not expecting something so aggressive. And Fusion University, again, just buying time off of the clock. They've whittled Kungarna down to their last minute and 15.
But they do have 5 ultimates. Duplicate is on the ground, so unable to use that Earthshatter. The Graviton Surge is going to get 4. Self-destruct is out for Kungarna, so they use 3 out of the 4 ultimates, and it is going to work. Transcendence keeping all of Kungarna alive. They've taken enough lives, but will Fusion University have enough time to come back? I do think they do.
Oh yes, there is definitely another point B defense on Fusion University's horizon, but the Kungarna finally finding that extra spark they needed to push through that very close defense. Duplicate now looking to see if he can get a cheeky Earth Shatter. If this combo, or excuse me, if this ultimate lands, it's going to buy his team so much time, but it is a question of that cost benefit. This is a risky play. Kungarna, they know that they have scant time left, so do they go for the safe push or try for something cheeky?
Oh, I would love to see something cheeky, but Duplicate had a huge shatter earlier, got 5 people set up the bomb. He doesn't have the bomb to back it up, but he can take it into his own hands. Wub's going to get the first kill. Did get the shield bash onto Chongsik to make him a lot more vulnerable. Salberry wasn't there in time, and Kungarna is coming out on top on this fight. However, with Duplicate being down, they don't have that Reinhardt to protect the rest of the team, but it doesn't seem to matter as they're looking good for this second point.
Yes, the backline of Fusion now just trying to stall out Elk Dancing. He's got his tap shoes on right there, but eventually does fall. Fusion, though, do hold Kungarna to an overtime point B capture, so there will be very little time for Kungarna to get that payload around this tricky third corner. This is such a good corner to hold up aggressively, and we've seen Fusion University go to that strategy time and time again, so this map geometry is just going to play right into their hands.
And looking at those ultimates, Onyx has that grab, and there is a Transcendence for Fusion University to counter that. Is it going to happen at the same time? Chongsik did get stunned, but he did not get taken down, so that's a missed opportunity for Kungarna. Both Transcendences are out right now. Graviton Surge self-destruct combo is there. It will not get any kills, but the rest of Kungarna will take advantage of that grab and take this fight.
Yeah, Kungarna, they have a rally, a sound barrier potentially in their back pocket, and that may be all they need here if they can bait out nice Graviton Surge. Is going to have to be a big one here. The follow-through from Fusion has to be there.
And so Chongsik getting taken down very low. Another really good shield bash from Wub. Will this Graviton Surge be enough? The shield is there. Oh my goodness, the vertical boop, my friends. That's going to mean all of their feet were exposed to that self-destruct.
No.
And I don't think D.Va likes feet.
Who knew taking off all of your toes could be so deadly?
Ooh,
yeah,
man.
no, they just all passed away from infection. That's going to be the assumption here, but regardless, Fusion University are looking strong to put a stop to this payload before third. Chongsik will have his final chance to land a big shatter. He's been holding this so long, he probably has a cramp.
Oh, the shield bash from Stillo is down already. They're not even going to be able to get back to the point, but one thing is for sure, that was perfect execution on that self-destruct play for Fusion University.
Exactly. Nobody expects the Lucio boop. It's just one of those things, and unfortunately there's also no counterplay. You know, you can be positioned as well as you can, but locked in place with that Graviton Surge as you are, it's a perfect setup for your enemy Lucio, and you can only, you know, be booped as the wind will take you.
Oh, that was so cool to watch. It's like watching, eating a good meal, right, when you see those types of things. And so now that we're going into Kungarna's defense, Fusion University has an opportunity to win this map outright, as 71.51 is not quite the end. They were so close. It looked like just a couple inches for them to get to the end of this map, but Fusion University setting themselves up to go up 2-0 on this match so far.
That would be such a feels good for Fusion University right before the halftime to net up another win. They do have a win condition. There's no, shaking the magic 8-ball or reading the tarot cards. They know if they can get that payload into that golden box of victory, they will have sealed the deal on Nimbani. And with that knowledge, that means that these attacking teams, you can start to play with that ultimate economy. Maybe we'll take, a couple of lost fights, but really push through, really save up those ultimates, go for that very final last effort, because we know, we only have 3 more meters to go, and we can just shove the payload back in with one clean fight.
And look at this, you got your wish, my friend. Kungarna is going to be running the Ana Zen Goats, which is that 3-3 comp that we have all come to love, I'm sure. But now with this Ana, what is he going to be able to provide that the Lucio didn't?
Well, certainly one of the things is going to be that big bio nade. That is a splash of burst healing that you don't find with Lucio and Zenyatta. It is a lot of healing over time, so oftentimes running with those 2 support ultimates, your team is going to have to, stage and position, maybe give up a lot lot of space, but with Ana, there's always the potential to very quickly save one of your teammates with that nade.
Yeah, Kungarna's got a pretty good dive because of that nade, and also that sleep dart. Duplicate taken below half health, and Insomniac getting taken down very early by Alarm, so he's going to keep showing up on that kill feed. He's going to have a highlight reel after this game, that is for sure. But now Fusion University has those numbers. They're going to get the kills. Kungarna on the back foot right now. Will Fusion University be able to clean this up? It looks like they will, as they get this first point pretty easily.
Oh no, Kungarna's attention looked utterly split right there on that first point defense. You saw none of the tanks were anywhere within the same zip code of each other. You actually saw from Changsik's point of view, he was holding his shield and there was Vegeta right in front of him, and he was like, you know, I could probably just swing my hammer right now. And nobody's even looking at me. Boom! Takes down the Vegeta with one fell swoop, while the rest of Kungarna were picked apart by the other members of the Fusion University team. And this is where things start to get dangerous. Kungarna, no ultimates online as of right now. They were forced to swap onto that Reinhardt. So Fusion University, if they keep up this ultimate cycling, they could get quite a lot of easy distance.
Well, they have a lot of advantage right now. We do have a Transcendence coming from both sides, and we also have a pause, so we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer before we find out the end of this fight. But Fusion University continuing the story from the last game. Kungarna showing signs of life, and then Fusion taking it right away.
Ooh, it is one of those feels bad. It's like when your, you know, little brother is playing like Naruto with you, and it's like, oh, I actually just let you win all those times, right? Ooh, it's not a common experience.
Yeah, my family was really into cheating. Yeah, to win.
Is it one of those? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've heard. Yeah, it's classic.
Yeah, my dad would like put two Uno cards together and then put them down at the same time, and we were like 4 years old. That's some really good life lessons learned from there. Do anything to win.
Yeah,
right?
everybody will take advantage of you if allowed. Yeah.
Well, don't take that advice, but continue on with
Yes,
your point.
but this advice is sound. Promise, we do know Overwatch, but yeah, so it really is, you know, again, that idea of tempo. A lot of times you're saving those cooldowns, right? I'm going to use this shield bash. We're all posturing, right? The Reinhardt main tank mating dance, as we like to call it, alongside the Brigidas. And it's all about baiting the enemy Rein or enemy Brigida's cooldowns. Once you know that they don't have that ability online, you're so much more free to do as you will, because you're now, you know, like the playing field has been laid bare. It's like, you know, Infrasight, but for like shield bash. So you know exactly what's going to be coming at you and where they're going to be positioned. So a lot of times it really does come down to, you know, are you going to be expecting this engagement right now in this second? If you're not, you know, micromanaging, keeping an eye on all of the cooldowns that are on the table, speed boost, shield bash, ally bubble, self bubble, matrix, how long has this diva been matrixing? It's a lot of stuff to manage for these teams on these players. So even as we're saying like, oh, you know, it's just that 1 microsecond, as a plebe, right? This is all beyond our ability, but GOATS, you know, is actually very nuanced play, and it's so difficult.
Well, it's just the interaction, the relationships between everything. It's like a puzzle piece, right? So if all the puzzle pieces fit together, you get GOATS. Sometimes you try to force those puzzle pieces into the wrong spot. You know, it can work sometimes. You can imagine
maybe some weird-looking GOATs.
Yeah,
right?
maybe,
like,
maybe, yes. But one thing is for sure, we do have a pause because Bernard did disconnect, and this is in the middle of a fight. So this, when they do come back, he is going to have to come back from spawn and lose all of that ult charge as well. So it's actually a really good time for Kungarna to kind of think about how they're going to try to progress and get this defense going. Really bad feeling on the DC though. That's some bad luck.
Yeah, sometimes it is unlucky, but I mean, Fusion, maybe they don't even need that Graviton Surge. If I remember correctly, they may have also had an Earth Shatter online, you know, something of that sort. You do know that they have the advantage in the ultimate economy because they won those last fights so convincingly, right? So you have to be going into these fights as the defenders, you know, as Kungarna, expecting some of these big ultimates to come through.
And so the thing too is Kungarna is not really working with much either. So this is going to be, you know, potentially, like you said, even though they're going to be down a member, Fusion University has been down before a couple members and come back to win those fights, as almost every Overwatch team has done in their history. But the thing about this specific moment too is that the offensive spawn is actually pretty close, so he'll be able to come back pretty easily. Let's see who will be able to take this. He is reconnected. We will be starting this game here in a couple seconds. We will be in the middle of a fight. So the Transcendences are coming from both sides right now. Will Bernard come back? The rally is there as as well, so they're waiting for the Diva to come back, and then they will engage. Nice does have that Graviton Surge. Will he use it? This is going to be a big one, I have a feeling, my friends. He's walking up, he's running, he's using those legs. He's going to take the guy out of that mech first to make sure he can get that Graviton Surge out. The rest of Fusion University takes advantage of Kungarna moving back. They get a team kill.
Yeah, that was a pretty heavy investment, though, from Fusion. You had Chongsik and Nice both layering their ultimates. That's not something you generally, would like to see, as there is a little bit more of the street that Fusion will have to cover here. But a one fight is a one fight, Boop, and Kungarna themselves, they'll be coming back with their own Graviton Surge. You have the possibility with the combo with Pika's bombs, who has come up big in the past.
And so amped it up from Kungarna means they're going to go ahead and try to take this fight. Self-destruct out from Kungarna as well. Doesn't get anything. Wub does have that rally to keep the rest of Kungarna alive. That extra Inspire healing and that armor is going to be very, very helpful to them throughout the rest of this fight. The Graviton Surge out from Kungarna as well, but no confirmed kills from them. Fusion University is going to have an advantage now with that Transcendence. War is going to use the Transcendence as well. Kungarna is having to invest a lot into this. The Earthshatter not really hitting anything at all, but Duplicate is going to get that kill on it to Elk. Really good charge there. So Kungarna investing a lot into that. They lose their ultimate advantage, but they do win the fight.
Exactly. That was a fight that Kungarna needed to win, given how much they committed to it. You had more popping the Transcendence immediately in response to Alarm, and that does seem to be the play for many of the teams in Contenders this season. You see the enemy team popping that Transcendence, you know how much utility that's going to be able to give them. They can essentially push forward unimpeded. They're not going to be taking any of the damage, while your team is going to be really suffering. So that is actually a pretty smart investment right there.
All right, Nice has the Graviton Surge once again. He's going to put it on the bus. Duplicate is above in the air just a little bit. Sound Barrier is going to keep the rest of Kungarna alive. That's exactly what you want to see after that Graviton Surge. That's why his 4 ultimates are there. Graviton Surge from Kungarna, not going to get much, but Bernard is going to get a double self-destruct kill on the 2 supports. So no healing available for Kungarna. No one is stopping this payload.
Oh no, it is chugging along. Somebody has snipped the brakes to this cart, and Fusion University biting back with a vengeance right there. Chongsik, again, a beautiful combo there with Bernard, lobbing that mech into the backline. So even though Duplicate did get up from that shatter, he was in no position to protect the backline from that incoming bomb.
And so Fusion University have 4 minutes to grab this green box of victory. And the way that they're going right now, they have the momentum to do it. Alarm has that Transcendence, and no one else very close to their ultimates themselves, but it's kind of the same story onto Kungarna. Duplicate is very close to that shatter. Will he get it quickly? He can, and have an advantage in this fight for Kungarna. He has it right now. He's got to let it rip. Will it be a fatty shatty? I think it might not, because he's going right back to spawn. The Transcendence was forced out as well to try to save him. They really wanted to use that Earthshatter. The Graviton Surge from Fusion University is going to get 4, and I love what Bernard did. Just stood right on top of their heads, helped burst them down. Fusion University is going to continue on this payload.
Yeah, sometimes life feels like a 1,000-ton mech landing on your head. Just gonna say it. And
just happens sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens, and that is such a good fight for Fusion right here. Not only are they stacked in terms of ultimates, but it's some of the most crucial ults. Both support ultimates, as well as still that offensive ability, the Earthshatter from Chongsik.
Well, that Earthshatter and that Self-Destruct can do wonders, and that Earthshatter didn't do anything, missing everyone right there. The Reinhardt is on the ground. Nice getting that double kill, so Fusion University looking really, really good on this fight. Sound Barrier going to hit everyone that is still alive for Fusion University. Self-Destruct going to hit more. So they have the numbers. They just got to get that focus fire down, get everyone else off the payload, and win this round. They're so close to doing it. Fusion University is going to take Numbani, and it's going to go up 2-0 before we get to halftime.
Impressive play from Fusion University right there. Every single one of their ultimates seemed to be getting so much better value. When Fusion was popping Trance to go aggro, it worked out beautifully. It forced Kungarna to face them, to call, right, and invest their own Transcendence. But when Kungarna tried to work on it in the defense, Transcendence by itself is not going to actually save your team in the long run. You need to take that time and confirm some kills given all of this healing. Push forward, be aggressive. Unfortunately, Kungarna were caught up in that Graviton Surge. Fusion, every single time they were just able to raise the stakes. And eventually, Kungarna just ran out of ultimates.
So one thing is for sure, they are down 2-0. If you were their coach at halftime, is there anything that you're seeing that is positively working right now that the team can build off of and potentially challenge Fusion University after the half?
I mean, ultimate usage has actually been pretty fair, even though I did call out that one Transcendence in the very end. Kungarna have been keeping this fairly competitive. They nearly finished out Numbani, and right over here where you see them pushing all of Fusion off of the point, separating that back line. Ooh, and big shatter. Sometimes, man, there's just nothing you can do. You just want to take a nap in the very middle of a fight.
It's like when you get like a good back crack, right? And it just relaxes your whole body. That's what that shatter self-destruct
Exactly.
Honda
You're just
felt
like, you know, very momentarily incapacitated.
Exactly. But now that you're talking about things that are going well, if you were the coach again for Fusion University, how do you make sure things continue going well for them?
Fusion University, they have been playing quite well, just, you know, with the tools that are given, just good, disciplined Overwatch. One of the things that we can see, ooh, beautiful. Yeah, a little bit more of that, Bernard. Just, you know, 3Ks, keep them coming, keep them coming.
Hey, that all happened
you know,
because
turn
of
on that spigot.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you got to turn on that spigot. Yeah, you got to get the boops out.
Exactly. But yeah, just stay disciplined. I think that is something that we've seen not only in Contenders, but most recently the World Cup, where these teams full of experienced veteran players start to show a little bit of signs of that, you know, maybe mental breaking. You're getting a little bit fatigued, frustrated. You start seeing heroes trying to maybe solo carry a little bit too much. You're trying to do too much. It sounds a little counterintuitive, but a lot of times you'll see Reinhardts or Winstons dive really deep without keeping the line of sight with their healers. Reinhardt swinging their hammers, pushing forward very aggressively, trying to eke out a good Earth Shatter angle when maybe, you know, if you had held for just 3 more seconds, you could have gotten a shield bash combo, something like that. So Fusion, they're already doing very well. Just keep it disciplined, keep it cool.
Well, one thing is for sure, everything's kind of going the way that we thought so far, but after halftime, will Kungarna be able to come back and punish Fusion University? We'll find out on the other side.